The Mandalorian and Grogu might be the best experience of Star Wars I've had in a long time. Let me explain. So, I had a chance to go see the Mandalorian and Grogu film at the press screening at the Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. And I'm going to tell you guys, this was a joy to experience. And I'm going to tell you this was probably the best moment for me I felt as a Star Wars fan in a long time. I walked out of this movie feeling joy. Now, is this movie perfect? Absolutely not. However, it had the spirit and essence of Star Wars, adventure, wander, the fun and the adventure of Star Wars and what it is, right? Yes, absolutely, 100%, and they absolutely achieved that. I'm gonna start also go up and say this: I was not excited for this movie at all. I felt the trailers was not doing uh me any service in terms of being excited or overly joyful about this movie coming out. And honestly, I felt I was gonna be watching a long TV movie of Mandalorian, right? But what we got here is, yes, you see essence of it. Feels like if you watch this television show on Disney Plus, that you get that essence, but a more drawn out and more cinematic scale in terms of the fight, not only just the fight scene choreography, but also the space battles, starfighters fights and everything happening, but also some interpersonal relationships that you have with Mandalorian and Grogu, and how they're in their stage of their relationship where they are basically symbiotic. One without yin and yang, right? And looking out for each other. And there's a reason when you watch this movie why it's called Mandalorian and Grogu, because not only just served Din Djarin, played by Pedro Pascal, but also serves Grogu, quote unquote baby Yoda, right? But instead of just feeling like another like a Mandalorian season 4 episode 1 type of thing, you just have full of a great story to also bring out characters that some that you haven't seen before, but also other characters you have seen before in animation. As you saw in the trailer, basically where Mandalorian and Grogu are working together for the New Republic, and they're going on these different missions and everything. And they brought a mission in front of them, whereas they have to go and basically save Rada the Hutt, who is the son of Jabba the Hutt from the original trilogy. Now, we have seen Rada the Hutt before in animated in the Clone Wars movie before we see the television series and everything. And again, if you grew up just like me, this movie goes way back, right? And we see now Rada is older, buff, and basically is a fighter in the arena and everything. And basically, Mandalorian been hired by the Hutts to basically go save Rada as they go on this adventure. As they're also still trying to find other Imperial remnants after the end of Return of the Jedi, and as they're serving the New Republic. And really, again, what you have in this movie is just a sense of adventure and wander, but the spirit of Star Wars, of talk about the joy, and even in terms of the fan service here. If you are a fan of the Clone Wars, you're a fan of the original trilogy, or you might just be a fan of the Mandalorian show, I think this film is a service to all of you, whether what part of Star Wars that you are as a fan. I feel like it did a really good job of just being a fun and simple movie. The plot is basically simple, but again, you have those small moments that make the essence of the joy and wonder of Star Wars, and you just feel good after watching this movie. And I would tell you that I wasn't really excited for this movie at all, but then what surprised me was not only just the humor, which, if you are a Star Wars fan, Star Wars humor is not a movie that is trying to make a film about Star Wars, but yet they're taking jokes from a Marvel movie and implementing into Star Wars, right? No, that's not what it is here. What you have is the essence of Star Wars and what they're trying to use the in-world atmosphere, and when you have comedic moments that come out of that, it's like it not only seems unexpected but seems organic in a sense, because oh yeah, that makes sense. And even the Easter eggs that is plotted around this entire film, you feel that people that made this film, Jon Favreau, who directed it, and Dave Filoni, who produced it, that not only do they know Star Wars, they also know why you love Star Wars. Because in past projects and narrations, we've seen many different people try to write what Star Wars means to them and their iteration, and not understanding what the fans and audience want. And then other people who try to service the fans, but then it's come simple fan service and not actually telling original story. And here, I think you got perfect synergy of having fan service, but also giving something an enjoyable experience for Star Wars fans. Especially, this is the first Star Wars film we've had since the Rise of Skywalker back on the big screen, and I felt, for me, the last few years that the brand has been diluted by the Disney Plus shows, and you feel in that sense of the magic of Star Wars has been dwindling, right? Not that I've never stopped being a Star Wars fan, but we need to bring Star Wars back into the cinema. And in the words of The Force Awakens, this will begin to make things right. If the writing that's happened on this film, even though it was simple, it was self-contained, there's not really a lot of things they're pulling out of canon, in terms of where we are in the world and what's coming next and down the line in the pipeline or anything like that. It's just a simple self-contained story. I think that's absolutely okay. I felt this was a great palate cleanser for Star Wars fans, and just movie fans in general. Out of the past things we experienced in the immediate, last few years, pre-pandemic, with the sequel trilogy, and also with certain original Star Wars stories or the anthology films, right? To me, Rogue One was still my favorite to this day. But here, what we have here, I think this is a course correct in terms of, all right, let's bring the fans back into Star Wars. Why you love Star Wars, the relationships, the hope, the wonder, the adventure, the action, and the joy. What it means to be a Star Wars fan, right? Yeah, you have those cute moments with Grogu, and you're seeing Grogu kind of like now holding on his own. He doesn't seem as helpless as he was in the Disney Plus show. You actually see him now mature in a way of actually handling himself, but also helping the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, as he's going through his adventures and everything like that, and being his partner in crime, right? And you see them as a pair. But also with the threats that are happening, as I mentioned, you have the Hutts. You also have some other bounty hunters, some returning bounty hunters from the Clone Wars, and which is very interesting. Imbo, you see him return, and you see him in the trailer. And again, knowing the universe, knowing these characters, you also get return of Zeb from the Star Wars Rebels, who is a great addition to this film, this cast, and you also have these characters have their moments to shine. And much as they're different characters, Sigourney Weaver, she plays a leader within the New Republic in the Starfleet Squadron, and me, I thought she was used very simple in a way. She didn't feel like, just fan service. Oh my God, it's Sigourney Weaver. But yeah, it was simple, but it was straight to the point. But she served her role in there. But also, again, it's produced by Dave Filoni. There's a lot of Easter eggs, even to not only to characters, but also even writers and directors who have been a part of Mandalorian show, and also other, Filoni and Jon Favreau films in the past and stuff, and television series. If you pay attention to certain actors in the background, there's stuff sprinkled there just for you, right? And again, as I'm watching this movie, I felt the pacing of this, of having action in a way that serves the story, but having time just to let us just explore this world, exploring new planets that we're in, right? And having us to basically just sit and be patient until we actually get the big climactic ending of this, and just enjoy just being in the world of Star Wars. And for me, while I was getting a little bit emotional watching this, because again, I was not the biggest fan of certain Disney Plus shows, live action, especially like the Book of Boba Fett, and I like parts of The Acolyte, but it wasn't the best. But here, you have, I felt this was a perfect, again, I mentioned course correct, but palate cleanser for Star Wars fans. That's way just to walk out of a film and just feel okay, that was good. That was a good movie. And this was a good movie. Simple, self-contained, straight to the point. And I think in some cases they played it safe, and that's okay. That is okay. Was it just a good film? And yes, This is a film that you should bring your family to go see, because again, if you're a Star Wars fan and you want also for children and adults too, is something there for all of you. Um, Especially Star Wars fans who have grown up with this franchise, and also new generations who are now adults who have grown up from the Clone Wars, who have watched saw the Clone Wars films, saw Rebels, and saw other films as well. And again, the lore of Star Wars. If you grew up in this era of storytelling, there's something there for you. And even from whether you're coming from the original trilogy, whether you're coming from prequels, coming from animation with Clone Wars and beyond, etc., or present day, there's something there for you. And for me personally, I feel it was a joy just seeing, also watching with a collective audience who love Star Wars for their own reasons and everything. And we just felt we had a shared experience watching this film. But yeah, I thought Jon Favreau did an amazing job with this. Again, is this the best Star Wars film of all time? Absolutely not. But is this the worst Star Wars movie of all time? Far from it. Far from it. This, I will give this an A for passing. But also just in terms of having that spirit essence of joy, walking out of a movie, and it's walking out of a Star Wars movie and like, man, I'm happy I'm a Star Wars fan. And I'm happy I'm going to share this experience with other Star Wars fans. And it's been a while, and it's been a long time, a couple of years since I have felt that in a movie theater. And I'm glad Star Wars back is in the cinema, and this film will be coming out this week on May 22nd. And also we got another Star Wars film coming down the line, Starfighter, with Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling. And again, I think that the future of Star Wars is bright, but also the future of Star Wars cinematically is bright. And I would love to see you guys' reactions and your thoughts when you see The Mandalorian and Grogu in a theater near you, which will be releasing this week. All right, guys. So see you guys in the next video. Peace.